Hey, what's up, guys? Tukey here, back again. This is episode 2 of my new franchise mode series here on NHL 18 with the Montreal Canadiens. And before we get started on simming the first season, I do need to update you because a couple of things have changed. Now, despite me mentioning in that first episode that I hadn't done a ton in regards to updating the rosters, I had done at least a little bit with, getting the NHL roster sorted. Some AHL rosters, I started to update that, and I really hadn't made any creative players. Of course, a lot of people still ask, like, oh, did you add this guy? Did you update this guy? I'm not going to have a video out showing everything I did because it's kind of pointless. I mean, at this point, I'm already a couple hours into updating everything. Point being, I did go back, and as you get a look at the list right now of the players that I have added, I went back and I at least added a few players. It's not everybody. Again, I still haven't, updated the AHL entirely, although I did update the Laval Rocket, which has an effect on this series as well. But there you go. I just, and that's pretty much the only thing I can say is I did add some players as was requested by quite a few of you, and it's nowhere near finished, right? It's nowhere near up to date. I know I set that bar and that standard really high when it comes to updating the roster, having all these creative players in the game, but the only way I could have gotten the starting roster for NHL 18 up to that standard is if I delayed this series and the Hartford series by 2 weeks minimum. And I just couldn't afford to do that, as you can understand, I am sure. So with this series, even though the Hartford series, of course, isn't, affected by an updated roster, with this series, though, we're just going to move on with how everything is now. Again, with that list of creative players, updated prospects as well, and then a month or two down the road, whenever we start up a new series, that, those series or, that series or both series, whatever, we'll end up having those up-to-date rosters. So there you go. But anyway, it affects our series because, as you would have seen on the list, we ended up adding defenseman, I think it's Jakob, it could be Jacob Jarabek, I don't know. He's from the KHL. I might have underrated him a little bit. I was a little bit conservative when it came to making him and Barrett Glazov on the Rangers like really good players. He could still have an effect in this series. However, we only had 48 contract spots heading into last episode before I added him, which means right now we only have 49. So you guys voted to sign Jaromir Jagr. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that now unless I trade somebody away. And again, like I said, I didn't want to be overly cheap and just immediately start trading prospects, but it was also overwhelming in terms of the support to sign Jagr. So I'm thinking that this will be the one move I make with this roster. We're going to get rid of somebody. Again, we have a lot of these players that are medium AHL top 6, although Andrew Shaw is the least valuable person on our team because of his contract. And not necessarily cap hit, but mainly the fact that he has 5 years. Then again, $3.9 million. That's pretty rough. And we're going to have to deal with that throughout the series. But as far as who we can get rid of, I think Joonas Natainen, I don't even know if he should still be on this roster, technically. I think that's, he's just there because EA is like, oh, okay, he's there. I don't even know. I should really check Cat Friendly to find out. But point being, I think I'm going to try to get rid of him. I doubt that there's a team that even wants him, but I'll check really quick just in case. No, nobody wants him. So what I'll do is we'll try to send him to Arizona for absolutely nothing. That's the most I'd be able to get anyway, is absolutely nothing. Can I even get a 6th rounder for him? See, I can't even get a 6th rounder for him. It might take a little bit to free up this contract spot. Nope, the 7th rounder went through. All right, so the Tynan is gone. That frees up the contract spot. We're going to try to sign Jagr. If Jagr declines, then so be it. And we at least have ourselves a free contract spot. But I was very tempted to just say, sorry, we're not going with Jagr because we got this guy instead, that defenseman. But in the meantime, we'll see what we can do. Now I am going to bump it up a little bit. No teams are interested. So I'm going to go 1 year at $3 million for the legend of all legends, perhaps. He's up there, man. He is up there. But we will see if he accepts. Kind of similar to the Manhattan Project, where we are signing Jagr right out of the gates. But it would be nice if somebody just would have signed him in real life so that wasn't even a question. Why has he not been signed yet? Hopefully by the time I upload this video, he signs. But at the very least, in this series, we have signed Jaromir Jagr. The people have spoken, and we have brought him to Montreal. Now, we do have the Champions tag to begin with. And like I mentioned, we do need to kind of stay along the same path of going for the win. Signing Jagr does that. Hemsky, of course, who was signed to replace Radulov, I guess, will be a healthy scratch. I mean, we're going to keep Byron and Shaw in. I want that fourth line of these, younger prospects to hopefully develop. I'm a little bit worried about Charlie Hudon potentially not making it to a top 6 spot. But in the meantime, Jagr is here, although it did put him down in the AHL to start. And Hemsky will be a healthy scratch. Aside from that, we are good to go. What am I doing? In the system, right wings. There we go. Now I finally remembered what I was doing. Great. So let's go best lines. And it actually just about takes Hemsky out of the lineup. It drops him down to the fourth line. We'll swap him out for Arteri Lehkonen. Medium top 6 potential. Not bad. To be honest, I mean, it might just be worth... it might be worth putting Paul Byron on the fourth line. Like, he and Andrew Shaw on the fourth line. The question is, can I keep Byron and Shaw happy with penalty kill time? Shaw's on the PK, Byron is not. It's not like Shaw's that great. I mean, 3.5-star defense. So you know what? Pakanich will be taken off of the penalty kill. We'll put Byron there, who at least has 4-star defense. No, he doesn't. 3.5-star. It's weird that it doesn't update. It keeps doing that, and it doesn't immediately update. But let's see if this little lineup change will work out for us. We will go with Lehkonen, Deneau, and Hudon, and we'll see how well that works out for us. And of course, like I mentioned, I'm going to play Galch on the left wing. I'm going to play Galchenyuk on the left wing. In real life, apparently they don't view him as a center, so whatever. We'll have fun with it. We'll try this out. Jagr's a second-line guy, by the way. I might as well just play Jagr on the top line, right? And have Gallagher, Pakanich, and Galchenyuk as the second line. Looks pretty good. Defense is set. Of course, the AHL team is set as well. You will notice, though, with the AHL team, I have made some changes to certain potentials. I can't remember which ones in particular. I know for a fact I made Brett Lernout a little bit better. He was like a low AHL top 2, which is kind of ridiculous. Maybe I slightly overrated him at medium 7th. But still, former 3rd-round pick, only 21 years old, still has time to develop. And then, perhaps the most controversial one, I dropped Foucault to low starter. As a side note, I also dropped Malcolm Subban to low starter instead of medium starter, because that's a bit ridiculous at this point, isn't it? I mean, Malcolm Subban, maybe he'll still make it. Maybe Foucault will still make it. But then again, he spent time in the ECHL. Which, I mean, that's probably mainly because of Lindgren. You get the point either way. Like I've mentioned, we've dropped certain players. We've, bumped up the potential and overall of others. It's fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry. The good news is, Jagr is here, which means we are ready to get our first season sim underway. And you know what? Let's just say end of November, beginning of December. We'll see what happens moving forward. We did beat Tampa 7-0. In a preseason game, which is very, very promising. So aside from signing Jagr and getting rid of an AHLer, the team remains the same. Again, for the most part, we are following along with Marc Bergevin's vision. I mean, of course, though, getting Jagr instead of having to deal with Hemsky is certainly an upgrade. We'll see what happens, though. Moving forward, as we begin the season, we lost the first game of the year before winning the next 2. Or did we? No, wait, we're 2-2. That was weird. It showed the loss to, who was that, Tampa? It showed that loss before it even happened. It was the Rangers. Okay, it was weird. The logo was blurred out. We lost to the Rangers, and it showed the loss on our record on the right-hand side before that was even simmed through. Matt Taormina is 100%. I love the new alert notification system, just saying, hey, he can play. No, now it's, he's 100%. Okay, cool. I'll actually put him back in. And we will do just that. I mean, you could argue putting certain prospects there instead, but for the moment, we are good to go. Let's keep this season sim going. How well are we going to do this year? I don't know. You'd like to think Jagr will improve our chances of success, but you never quite know. You never quite know. It could turn into a bit of a disappointment. But so far, so good with a 7-3-1 record. Now an 8-3-1 record. And yes, simming through the calendar simming through the season in general, much, much faster this year, which is nice. And also, with the reduced injury slider, we are flying through this. Although we have lost 5 straight games. We finally beat Buffalo, but 5-game losing streak. Really. That's like I mentioned, you never quite know how this is going to play out. We'll go SHL Forge for 3 weeks to the Laval Rocket. 12-3-1 record. They are looking pretty good. We've bounced back with 3 straight wins. We do at least have, a 5-game point streak as Max Freeberg, is it Freiberg or Freeberg, goes down to injury. Not going to worry about learning his name. I mean, I do believe he's a former Anaheim Duck, but he's not going to be on this team for all that long. So it's okay. There's no reason to worry. I am intrigued, though, to see what our record will be by the end of November. Freeberg is 100%. And we'll take out Yannick Veilleux, who was put into the lineup for him. Let's see, he was a left wing, was he not? Yes, he was. Let's take a look here really quick. De La Rose, not doing too bad. Sherbak is doing great so far, as is Chris Terry, the veteran. At least the veteran for this team, 28 years old. But let's take a look here. We might as well. Patches, 5 goals, 12 assists. Of course, we changed him to a sniper over a power forward. Drouin, 23 points, not too bad. Jagr with 18 points. Minus players, though. Galchenyuk, 17 points. Plekanec, that's not great. That's not great from Gallagher either. So we are struggling a little bit. And by the way, Byron and Shaw, have you guys been complaining? You haven't been. Well, that's tremendous. Let's see. You know what? For the moment, I think I'll still keep the lines the same. Let's at least get to the end of the month, and we'll see how our record is at that point. 15-8-4 through the first 2 months of the season. Where are we in the standings, though, is my question. We are currently in first on 34 points, 4 points ahead of the Sabres, although they are of the Sabres, 4 points ahead of the Lightning. They have 2 games in hand, as do the Sabres, who are in third. That's what I'm trying to say. Speaking is difficult. English is difficult. But knowing that we are currently in first, I'm going to leave this team the same, and we're just going to keep going. Why not? Like I said, no major changes need to be made for the major changes in the AHL need to be made, as that team is a bit of a mess. And you could argue there are certainly some issues with the main team, also known as the Carl Alsner contract, the Andrew Shaw contract, as Peter Holland goes down to injury. Knock on wood, so far, the only injuries we've had to deal with have been at the AHL level. But I don't know, man. Like I said, I think the best way, Paul Postma, no thank you. We already have too many defensemen like you, along the lines of Zach Redmond. I forgot my train of thought. It's all right. It's okay. We don't want to do too much, was the point, as De La Rose breaks his nose. We wanted to keep the team the same. Of course, it's way too easy to just go out, trade away all the garbage for picks, and, not necessarily take a shortcut to success, but certainly accelerate that process of getting rid of a lot of players. If I keep umming and ahhing throughout this, I am going to hate myself as I go back through this video to edit. But that's okay. It's all good. I think a part of it, genuinely, is that my soul hurts knowing that I'm trying to help lead Montreal to success as Jeff Petrie goes down to injury until the middle of January. So he's going to be out for a month, which that's actually awful for us, isn't it? I mean, our defensive depth is okay. Keep in mind with the new overall ratings, someone like, of course, Davidson and Morrow at a 78 and 77 are decent. The question is, who do we call up? Because I don't necessarily want to lose Davidson, but I mean, we are playing him in the AHL just because there isn't exactly a spot for him. I could call up Jagr, and I will, because we won't lose him to waivers. So he is the guy to be called up here in this situation. I told you at the start of this, he could very well factor into this series. Now, again, I am going to have to put Shaw and Byron on the PK, and I got to take out Hemsky for Lehkonen. I'm still probably just butchering his name, but that's fine. Again, it's weird how that glitches out. But how is he doing so far? That third line's been doing all right, in fairness. That is promising. That is promising. And then the fourth line, not so great. Not so great. But I can't say I'm really surprised by that. So again, we'll put Shaw at center. Let's get Byron on the PK. Not Lehkonen. Come on, menu. Keep up with me. Keep up with the button presses. And then the top six. Galchenyuk with, 24 points. Plekanec is just awful. Gallagher's not that great either. So again, a two-way forward in Plekanec. Right. All right, you know what I'm going to do? And it's a little bit risky. I'm going to put Pacioretty, Plekanec, and Gallagher as the top line. And then have the, ridiculous offensive line be Drouin, Galchenyuk, and Gallagher. Drouin still is a better center. But you know what? Here, let's put Galchenyuk at center. And we'll see how that goes, because Pacioretty has to be on the top line. And we'll see if those new combinations work. It's not as if we've been awful. But still, some changes could be made and have been made. Let's see. Let's go with Streit and Ben, Schlemko. Actually, here, I want to go Schlemko, Streit, Ben, and Jaromir. And then down in the AHL, I actually don't know who I'm going to put here. I mean, not Parise. I mean, he's not going to develop in time, 24 years old. He's not really going to make it. Why did that skip to Galchenyuk? What the hell? I keep finding just weird issues with the game, guys. Let's go with Juleson. We'll get him into the lineup. And hopefully that works out all right. We'll swap him with Morrow. Let's go with that combination right there. Looking good. Looking good. All right, let's go. Let's keep moving forward. Again, we are without Jeff Petrie for the next month. We were in first place in the division at the start of December. And we'll see once we hit the new year if that is still the case. Again, we will continue to scout out the European leagues. I'm not going to worry too much about the CHL for the first draft. I'm familiar with a lot of players, especially after going through the roster. So the first draft will probably be pretty beneficial for us, and should be a good draft depending on what draft pick we end up with. You never know. It could be 31st. That's my hope. But the Laval Rocket, 25-9-4, and the Habs, 23-11-5. Again, we're looking all right. It's a promising start. Are we still in first place? Yes, we are. 3 points above Ottawa, although they have 2 games in hand. Tampa down in third. Toronto, only 34 points. Wow. Rough season for the Leafs. Sophomore slump is real, apparently. Let's take a look here. Drouin leading the team in points. I think we still didn't want to advance Dave, but that's okay. I think we still will make it to, not the All-Star break, because there isn't technically an All-Star break in the game anymore, but we'll probably make it to the end of January before we call it an episode, and then that will really set up what we have to do, if anything, at the deadline. Now, again, Pacioretty isn't doing too badly. Plekanec, it's getting better. That's really the question with him, is just, what do I do? What do I do with Plekanec? Do we try to trade him? Do we just hold on to him for this year? Do we bring him back next year? I guess ideally, I mean, maybe we'd want him as the third line center. Like, we could have this next year, so to speak. It's just as a, throwing an idea out there. I'm not entirely sure. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm playing him as the top line center right now. That's not ideal. Hudon is improving, which is what I wanted. And then again, that fourth line, it's not doing too bad. But Andrew Shaw is going to start headbutting a few more goals in. Hopefully he does just that. So let's go ahead and sim to the beginning of February. The greatest month, February. And we will take it from there. I'll give you guys the chance to voice your opinion for what we should do as we head towards the trade deadline. Again, they took out the draft, which I haven't really seen too many people complaining about. I'm not necessarily complaining. It was just kind of an arbitrary stopping point. You can still kind of tell how the calendar works, at least how the calendar's set up here, that last Sunday would have been the All-Star break. So I'm still going to stop, just a little bit after that point. I should have checked, too. And I always forget, and I'm sorry. I'll pay attention to it now that we're closer to the deadline. But I didn't see, as far as signings go, it's not like there was anybody great. Have there been any trades? No trades. And as far as signings go, Wisniewski signed with Chicago in December, as did Brandon Peary. But, it's not like there were any major signings to be made. I mean, you had guys like Francois Beauchemin on the free agent list. We took the gem that was left. We ended up with Jagr. So, but as we approach the trade deadline, I promise I'll try to remember, and we'll keep track of who goes where. At least that way we don't lose. We're not surprised by any major moves, like when we make the postseason and Tyler Seguin's been traded to Pittsburgh or something, right? So, anyway, David Brohl needs to be taken out of the lineup, I guess, for De La Rose. I don't know. The roster is a bit of a mess at the moment. Let's swap De La Rose and Holland. There we go. It's looking better. It's looking better. The defense still looking all right. The Rocket are doing well. I should mention, too, you probably noticed I changed Lindgren's potential a little bit. Went with high backup over, say, low fringe or even medium fringe. Let me know what you think about that. But as it is, he was probably only going to make it. And there you see, Petrie is back to 100% a few days early. Something that really screwed us over in the Manhattan Project with Brady Shea. This time, though, with the proper warning, we're good and we don't have to worry about it. And we can send Jaromir back down to the AHL. He's not going to be too happy about it, but that's all right by me. Let's go best lines here. And again, I'm going to set up the team in the exact same way we just had them set up. Poor Hemsky, by the way. What do we do? I'm surprised. Is he complaining? Yeah, he's not happy. Too bad, man. Too bad. Shit happens. Like signing a legend in Jaromir Jagr. He is more important. His happiness is more important. We need to go to special teams. We need to go to the penalty kill yet again. We'll make Shaw the center. And we'll put Paul Byron there yet again. And then down in the AHL, that's weird how if it switches, you don't go right back to the offensive tab. We'll take Juleson out for now. We'll put Jaromir back in. There you go. And we'll leave the team just like that. All right, so Jeff Petrie is back. We still had a decent record without him. Maybe a little bit more than decent. So things are still looking good. Addison goes down to injury with back spasms. He's out for, a week? Just a little bit over a week. Which, one of the younger players for the Rockets, so not the worst case scenario for us as we hit what would have been the All-Star break, the 28th. I'm going to edit the scouting really quick for the last time in this episode. Let's go League of Defense for 2 weeks. And Addison's back to 100% a few days early. So there you go. I love that, man. Oh, that's such a good update to the system. It really is. But we'll put Addison back in the lineup. Let's go ahead and sim this last game against St. Louis. And that brings us to our stopping point. We finish with a 29-15-6 record. The Rocket down in the AHL, 31-13-5, despite quite a few injuries. But we'll take a look at the stats here. And then, of course, the ball is in your court for what we do, if anything, because we are still in first place in the Atlantic. It's been that way pretty much all season, although the Bruins certainly fought back, didn't they? But 64 points for us in 50 games. The Bruins have a game in hand, so we are at least 4 points clear no matter what, even if the Bruins end up winning that next game. So we are in a very promising spot. And actually here, let's take a look at the team stats. It's weird. Either tab brings you to the same spot. But I want to take a look around the league. We are currently in 5th place in the NHL. Carolina has tied us in points. You got Winnipeg, Minnesota, and then Pittsburgh at the top of the board. That is a little bit surprising. Vancouver is in 8th, Arizona in 11th, New Jersey in 13th. Who's at the bottom? Columbus. 35 points in 50 games. Good Lord. And you have Vegas, Nashville, Detroit, St. Louis, Edmonton. Chicago's there. Washington. You never quite know. You never quite know how a sim is going to play out. And there is further evidence. Now, goals for per game, 2.96, which is tied for the second highest goals for per game marker in the league. Pittsburgh, the only team over a 3. And then goals against per game, a 2.78, which is towards the top of the league. Mid-table, but also towards the top of the league. So you could argue our defense needs to be improved, although we will look at Carey Price's stats. That's the one thing I really haven't checked so far, is how Carey has done for us this season. 19.7% power play, so mid-table towards the top of the league. And then an 80.8 PK, which again looks to be a little bit lower. Mid-table, a little bit on the lower side. So you could argue that the PK needs improvements as well. But of course we do have a few players there, Byron and Shaw, that probably shouldn't be, but they have to be if we want to keep playing Lehkonen and Hudon in these improved roles, which has worked out fairly well so far. Jonathan Drouin is leading the team in points, 44 points in 50 games, 23 goals. Jagr second in scoring with 41 points. What a pickup he was at 45 years old, the ageless wonder. Pacioretty with 40 points. Galchenyuk with 36. 7 goals, 29 assists. Gallagher on 34 points. He does have 20 goals. Good season so far for him. If he could hit 30, I would be ecstatic. 33 points for Plekanec, so he has improved. He has improved since we've made the top line, Pacioretty, Plekanec, and Gallagher. So he might just be worth keeping for this season. Philip Deneau, 27 points in 50 games, 25 for Charlie Hudon, and then the other member of that third line, Lehkonen, on 23 points. That's very promising. Shea Weber on 20 points, 18 for Byron, 15 for Shaw, 11 points for Mark Streit, and then 10 for Mike McCarron. Who else do we have here? Petrie, 10 points in 40 games. Of course, our defenders, we don't exactly have an Erik Karlsson type, obviously. So I don't expect either of these, like any of these defensemen. Even either player on our top pairing of Halsner and Weber to really do all that well. 20 points for Weber, though, is pretty good. 6 goals. But yeah, the defense could certainly be improved. We'll take one more look at it here before we call it an episode. But Carey Price, 44 appearances, a .905 save percentage. Now here's the good news. We are still in first place in our division, despite Carey Price only having a .905 save percentage. The question is, do we blame the defense, or is he just having a bad season? Now, Al Montoya, on the other hand, has 12 appearances with a 929 save percentage. 12 appearances. To be honest, a 3-2-2 record, which is what I was going to say, and I'm like, it's kind of irrelevant. So clearly, Carey Price has been pulled from a couple of games. There's no other way Montoya would have 12 appearances. So Carey has struggled this year. But again, do you blame Carey or do you blame the defense in front of him? Again, we'll take a look at the defense one more time in a moment. And we might even go hunting on the trade block. But right now, as you would expect, Matt Murray first in wins. Price is actually second in wins. So that's the thing. If Carey can find his game, oh my God, we're unbeatable. Because we're still doing this well to begin with. Let's take a look at the league-wide point totals. John Tavares leading the league with 62 points. He has 38 goals already. Ovechkin with 58 points. He has 38 goals as well. Backstrom with 57 points right there with Ovi, of course. You have Kucherov with 55 points. 54 for Tarasenko, 29 goals already. 53 points for Eichel. 52 for Stamkos and Crosby. Ryan O'Reilly's up there. You have Voracek as well, and Eberle on 50 points. Malkin, Kane, and Palat all at 49. Any surprising names? Skinner at 47 points. Bergeron and Marchand are up there, thankfully. Or not thankfully. And then Pasternak's up there as well. It's going to be interesting if Pasternak hits the free agent market in the first offseason. That very well could happen. And I know people will immediately tell me, sign him! Sign him now! I don't know if we will. But Dylan Strome, right now, leading the rookie race with 29 points. Brock Besser is up there with 26. Charlie Hudon, he has a chance to win the Calder. He has a chance to win the Calder, especially if we were to put him in an improved role. Could happen. Sorry, I was looking at Emmy, and if you don't know who Emmy is, again, that's my dog. And I think she started this, like, she may have seen a cat or a squirrel. She jumped up. She was looking out the window, laying down, and then she jumped up, thought she was going to start barking. Kind of scared the hell out of me. But anyway, that is the current rookie scoring situation. Again, we might have to put Charlie in an improved role. If he's not on the power play, we might have to put him there. I would love to win the Calder. Now, again, as we wrap up this episode, let's take a look at our defense and how it could be improved, and we'll also take a look at the trading blocks around the league. Now, you could, of course, always say, oh, go after this defenseman, go after that defenseman, but it is much easier to go after someone, of course, who is on the trading block. They have that lesser value, and it could be very helpful for us. We are absolutely in a situation where we are trying to win now. Now, is the offensive, are the four lines on offense good enough? Is the offensive core good enough to get that job done this season? Could they win the cup? Perhaps. I really don't know if we need another improvement. And who would we take out of the lineup if we were to do that? Paul Byron? I mean, we have no choice but to keep Andrew Shaw happy. Paul Byron has 2 years left on his deal. But if we were to say get rid of Paul Byron and get an improvement, that would probably mean knocking Philip Deneau down to the fourth line. So you got to think of these things. Offensively, we could certainly use an improvement, but is it the right decision? And then defensively, as it is, down in the AHL, Davidson, Morrow, they should be playing third pairing minutes at the NHL level. We just don't have space for them. You could definitely argue another top four defenseman, because that is not what we have in Ben Schlemko or Streit. So you could argue someone to play on that top pairing with Weber. Ideally, we'd have Alzner on the second pairing, not the top pairing. And as it is, a -12 and a -9 for those two players. So there could certainly be that need for an improvement. And honestly, I thought I was going to have to say, let's look for a new backup goalie, because Montoya's not getting the job done. That's not the case at all. Al Montoya's been great for us. And getting a look at the free agent list, again, there's really nobody at this point. P.A. Parento is the only guy we could really sign at this rate to kind of improve the team. But even then, same overall as Paul Byron. So let's take a look around the league just to get an idea. Now, we are still a month out from deadline day, so we don't have to make a move immediately. So keep that in mind. If we see somebody here, yeah, it might be worth going after them. Say an Alex Goligoski, although he has 4 years left on that deal, so there's no way. Unless we were to get him at half salary, which could happen. But even then, you would still have Alzner on the top pairing with Weber. Buffalo, they're getting rid of Pominville. How much? 2 years left. 2 years left. I was going to say, how much term does he have? Josh Georges is there. You could bring him back to Montreal, but probably not the best decision. Who else do we have? Calgary's getting rid of Matt Bartkowski. Alex DeBrincat's on the block. Colorado. Who are the Avs looking to get rid of? Colin Wilson, Como, and Soderberg. And Colin Wilson, what do you have left for term? 2 years. Como is a pending UFA. Dallas, Martin Hansel is there, as well as former Hab Brian Flynn. 3 years, though, on that deal. That is not going to happen. Detroit, with Gustav Nyquist on the trading block. 2 years left on his deal. We wouldn't go after anybody else, not even close. Let's see here. New Jersey, Jesper Voquist, Santini, Gianna Strait. Yeah, there's really nobody there, is there? Nashville, though, an interesting little piece in Alexei Emelin. He is there, as is Matt Irwin. I mean, does he improve this team drastically? Not really. The Islanders, who do they have? Okay, now here's the thing, right? In real life, there have been rumors saying that the Habs should, just go after Tavares. Acquire him, re-sign him, that way you have him. The Islanders have him on the trading block as a pending UFA. I don't know if we have the pieces that it will take to be able to do that. I really don't know if we could come up with a package to get John Tavares. It would probably have to include Jonathan Drouin. Noah Juleson, Galchenyuk, a first rounder at least, and then probably Lehkonen or Sherback. We would have to give up a lot. But he does have that decreased trade value because he is on the trading block. That is something to ponder. I'm not going to put up a poll in the corner saying, do we trade for him? No. Let me know down in the comments below. What do you think? Is there justification to go out and attempt to trade for John Tavares right now? And again, we are still a month out. Calvin DeHaan might actually be an improvement, also a pending UFA. Calvin DeHaan might solve the defensive worries. Maybe. Barrick Alazov is also there. Again, we are a month out from deadline day. A lot could still change. Dion Phaneuf is there. If I could get him... no, people are going to say no. But if I could cut that salary in half to $3.5 million... it wouldn't be terrible for a top four defenseman. The Flyers, Filppula, Reed, Raffl, Laterra, no thank you. Pittsburgh's not getting rid of anybody. Now, St. Louis, they're shopping Jay Bouwmeester. He has 2 years left. But Jay Bouwmeester would absolutely improve our defense. And a Bouwmeester Weber top pairing. Combining words because you've got too much to say. That would be interesting. A Team Canada defense there. So that's definitely a name to look out for. And as far as who I've seen on the block so far, I'd say Jay Bouwmeester is the guy to go after. Absolutely. Toronto shopping Bracco, Marleau, Komarov. Leo wouldn't be too bad. Leo would be a pretty good pickup. Marleau not so much with 3 years left on that deal. Who else do we have? Vancouver. They are shopping Alex Edler, who has 2 years left on his deal. You also have Brandon Sutter, but he has 4 years left. So on defense so far, Bouwmeester, Alex Edler, two possibilities without a doubt. And then, of course, we saw John Tavares. Vegas ended up with Jimmy Hayes, you poor bastards. And then let's see, we have Winnipeg and Washington. Winnipeg getting rid of Vesalainen, Roslovic, Enstrom, Fedor Tutin they ended up signing. So nobody great there. And then the Caps, of course, are only shopping prospects. So there's your early look at who is available. As far as defense goes, Bouwmeester's up there. Edler is up there. As far as how we can improve things, I think we'd really only need one. Although you could argue, go after both of them and really improve that defense. Imagine that then with, say, to be honest, I don't even know. Say Bouwmeester, Weber, Edler, Petrie, Alsner, and Schlemko, or Jordy Ben. That would be looking pretty good. But we don't have to end up with both of them. Point being, we have a lot of possibilities. And again, more names could end up on the trading block as we head towards the trade deadline. But guys, for now, that will do it. There was one trade already. Derek Brassard off to Anaheim for a first rounder and a third rounder next year, and prospect Jack Kopaka. So that is the first deal. Will it be the first of many We will find out in the next episode as we go through the deadline and finish up our first season with Montreal. So for now, guys, I will say I hope you did enjoy the episode. If you did, you know what you have to do to support the video and the channel. Any and all support is more than greatly appreciated. Links are in the description for Twitter and Twitch as always, if you're not following me there as well. And yeah, for now, guys, that will do it. I will see you next time in the next episode of my franchise mode series with Montreal. We might end up with John Tavares.